Hi friends, welcome to this episode of My Mentor. This is a place where visionary and driven leaders, professionals and entrepreneurs meet. Today I'm chatting to Mr. Sipho Majola, who is a distinguished business figure in South Africa, being the founder and CEO of Impella Consulting, a pioneering consulting company that specializes in supply chain, among other services. Mr. Sipho Majola, thank you so much for joining me.
It is my pleasure to be here this morning, and I really feel honored to be invited by someone of your caliber.
The honor is ours. The honor is ours, sir. Thank you so much. I'm very, very pleased to have someone of your caliber on this platform because you bring a wealth of experience in consulting, in entrepreneurship, in business as a whole. Of course, the one thing common among us is the fact that you went to the University of Cape Town.
Yes.
And you studied Bachelor of Science in chemistry.
I did BSc in chemistry, and basically I majored in chemistry as well as mathematics.
Yeah, that's really amazing. It's amazing how BSc in chemistry led to consulting and business in general. Before we get into the specifics of that, take us back to the time when you were in varsity at the University of Cape Town. What was it like? Why did you choose to go study chemistry?
Okay, maybe I should take a step back. I come from Claremont. It's a township in the outskirts of Pinetown in Durban. I was raised by a single mother who was a domestic worker.
Wow.
From a very early age, she instilled in me a culture of hard work. Basically, because we could not make ends meet at the age of 12, I had to, after school, go to the local supermarket, push trolleys and get tips that enabled me to bring food at home and help my mother, to support the other 4 kids. There were 5 of us. So my background made me have this dream that I want to change my circumstances. To an extent where when people looked at me, they probably thought, this guy is from a well-to-do family. No, it's because I could see that my parents were not able to support us. So I had to work. And then from the age, actually, the last time my mother bought me something or even paid for school fees was when I was 11.
Sure.
From the age of 12, I bought my own clothes. I bought food at home.
Wow.
I paid my own school fees.
Wow.
I paid for bus transfers. So I was responsible. I was a working class.
At the age of 12?
Exactly.
Wow.
At the age of 12. And I didn't like my circumstances. Growing in dusty streets in the townships. And I had this dream that one day I would we used to call white university. I would like to go to a white university. But now the challenge is I basically studied in the black schools. I couldn't answer a simple sentence in English. And I had aspirations of going to UCT. So I applied for a scholarship for many years, unsuccessful. The year passed by. Still went to the supermarket, get tips, had some money, saved a little bit, saved until I saved enough money to buy a flight ticket.
Wow.
Because I kept on applying to UCT.
Wow.
And eventually I got a scholarship to study at Kenya College.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I also got a scholarship to do A-levels in the UK. It's a long story. I ended up doing a bridging course at Kenya College in Cape Town.
Yeah.
What was so amazing is without any strong, educational background, I got distinction in mathematics.
Wow.
I got a distinction in physics. That gave me the entry into UCT.
Wow.
So, and then I ended up doing chemistry. But when I went to chemistry, I asked a friend of mine, I said to him, I want to study mathematics because I'm good in math.
Yes.
He said, but Sipho, where are you going to work?
Yeah.
Do chemistry. Chemistry is easy. I said, but have you ever done chemistry? I remember the first time I went to the lab, it was difficult. Because now they are talking about titration. What is titration? I had no idea, but I knew there was no option.
Yes.
And around that time, 2 years later, I lost my sister. When I lost my sister, I just developed ulcers. I had this migraine nonstop. It was tough. I remember when I was at UCT, I said to God, can you please allow me to finish and have a degree? Then you can take me. Because I knew I was going to die.
Sure.
Up until such point where I was writing exams, I was so sick. One of the guys who was staying with me, highly spiritual, came to me. He prayed for me. He put his hands around my head. He prayed for me. Amazing, something happened.
Wow.
I've had a headache for probably 4 years.
Sure.
For the first time, the headache was gone.
Wow.
Up until today.
That's amazing.
Up until today, I don't take pain tablets. I don't have any headache.
Wow.
So this is how I basically ended up at UCT. But I was very clear that I don't want to work in the lab. So I then pursued a postgrad diploma in purchasing and materials management. This is where it started. And then I worked for various companies. I used to job hop. So I think in summary, I worked for various companies, both in public and private sector.
Yes.
Also within the supply chain environment.
Yeah. So the fact that you had to take care of your family from the age of 12, I think is a very inspiring story just by itself. And the fact that your parents didn't pay for any of your fees and buy you anything, you had to become an adult as a child. How do you think that season of your life prepared you to become a successful businessman that you are today?
It prepared me in the sense that everything that I pursue is a challenge. Nothing was ever given to me.
Sure.
Everything I have, I had to work hard for it. And working hard not as a lip service, but getting your hands dirty. Doing everything that can change your circumstances. And remember, as I was working, the money that I made, I also was feeding my sisters, my brothers. So I knew that I'm not alone. There are other people that need to benefit from whatever little that I make.
Yeah. So you were giving back while advancing your own life and career as well.
Exactly.
Sure. And the decision to choose to go into supply chain, you said you did a course in a postgraduate study in supply chain management.
Yes. Remember, at the time, most companies did not understand the notion of supply chain management. They thought someone, they used to call purchasing. People that were not successful in their career, they were dumped in warehousing and supply chain. And supply chain was beginning to be professionalized.
Okay.
And I thought, it might be an interesting area. But what was scaring, when I inquired, they said, no, don't pursue that course. And I said, why? Because as of students that were in that, who enrolled for this program, I think only 4 passed.
Sure.
I like the challenge. So I said, despite
this is the one for me.
This is the one for me.
Yeah. Wow, that's really amazing. And of course, that in your firstly professional career and now in business was the foundation of where you ended up now. You mentioned you work for both public and private sector. I believe at some point you're working for a consulting firm, international consulting firm.
I was very lucky. I worked for big companies like Sipho. I worked for ABI. I worked for Standard Bank. I worked for Eskom. I mean, some of the companies that I work for do
Yeah.
not exist today.
Yeah.
But I gained valuable experience in
Yeah.
supply chain management.
Yeah.
So what puts me at an advantage is the fact that not that when I go to the client, I sell or provide consulting services. I come with a very strong
Experience.
in
Yeah.
management and leadership.
Yes.
And that is very critical in mobilizing resources, in
Yeah.
training and implementing new solutions at
Yeah.
the client side.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you were to describe for us what is supply chain management, I know these days it may be mainstream. When you started, it was not mainstream yet. What is supply chain management about?
Look, everything, whether you go into Amazon, underlying those applications,
Yeah.
there's a logistics infrastructure.
Yeah.
There's a procurement infrastructure. There is a production infrastructure.
Yes.
How do you combine all of that?
Yeah.
I mean, some people, they say they don't understand supply chain management. When you buy milk at home, do you buy milk that will last you a year? No. You buy milk that will last you probably 2 days because
Yeah.
it is perishable. Supply management is exactly what you do when you put items into your trolley.
Yeah.
There's perishables, there are detergents. You don't mix detergents
Yes.
with perishables.
Yes.
You don't put meat
Yeah. With soap.
with soap. And also when it comes to home, this is your warehouse.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
Your warehouse environment, where do you put your milk? In the fridge. It's a storage.
Yeah.
Supply management is exactly the same. I'm just using an analogy.
Yeah. I like the analogy. It brings it home. It makes it easy for, the man on the street to
And
understand.
also you don't buy above your budget.
Yeah.
Your card is going to decline.
Yeah.
So budgeting is also very critical.
Wow.
You do not buy more than you can consume, because if you consume,
Yeah.
there's going to be a wastage.
Yeah.
So you have
Yeah.
to throw a lot of rotten food.
Yeah.
So it's wasteful expenditure. Are you with me?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Have you always had the dream to own your own business?
Yes, from the early age. I don't think I started a business when I registered the company. I already prepared myself. When I was working for these big organizations, I find it interesting to see those executives having that corner office.
Yeah.
At some point when I was working for ABI, I also had a very nice corner office with a glass.
Yeah.
I had share options and what have you.
Yeah.
But I knew deep down that I want to have something similar, which is why, when I was already working, I decided that let me go to Harvard Business School and get the necessary training. I remember when I was there, I met the likes of Eric Schmidt. I mean, this was CEO of Novell. Novell was very big at the time. Everyone was using GroupWise.
Yeah.
Here's an opportunity for me to shake a hand with someone so big. And when I look at these highly influential, highly accomplished individuals, I said to myself, I would like to be like this one day. I would like to make a difference. I would like to build something that will live beyond me. So I don't believe in building a company. It's about how much money I'm going to make. Because you make your money, you spend your money, you consume. After 5 years, there's whatever you bought, there's no value.
Yeah.
But the company will live beyond you.
Yeah.
The company will actually have an impact of joblessness in the country. You begin to support other families.
Absolutely.
Because I could be the one who initiated, but everyone who is now within Impella is a stakeholder, is a shareholder. Every hour or minute he spent in the organization is looking for all of us. And in that sense, we're also feeding families.
Mm.
And where also we do business.
Yeah. No,
Social
absolutely.
responsibility is also important.
Yeah.
How we do then empower people in the in those communities.
Yeah.
So building a company was not about profit. For me, it was about creating something and learning from, for example, the De Beers, the Ackerman. And I'm saying, why, if you look at black businesses, in most cases, a guy that he is a businessman. He drives expensive cars, but no one knows what the name of his company is. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So people are very much interested in profiling themselves.
Yeah.
In my school of thought,
Yeah.
even people were to know nothing about Sipho Majola. As long as people know there's a company, a professionally run company called Impella.
Yes.
When I die,
Yeah.
I will feel I have done my job.
Wow. That's amazing. Impella is a consulting firm. You started mainly within the supply chain space, but now you do much more than that.
Yes.
Take us through that journey.
Okay, it is, you can have a concept. Now you register a company. It's important to register a company because it tells you that you are now pursuing a very different venture. In the past, there was payroll. Someone would pay you.
Yes.
Whether you are sick, now you need to pay yourself.
Yeah.
It's amazing. When I started Impella, I was one person, no one else. And I'm one of those who believes in bootstrapping. Because it is critical.
Yeah.
Because resources are very limited. How do you then finance yourself to grow the business? Yes, obviously, it limits your growth. Your growth can be very slow, but the risk of failure is also mitigated. So when I went to the first client, very exciting, because I'm a subject matter expert in my area. There was no fear. You go there, you cannot wait for the moment.
Yeah.
You can actually hit the ground running.
Yeah.
You can mobilize resources. You can perform, as consultant, we do diagnostic analysis and design. You analyze, you see where the organization is, and then you design and say, this is where the organization is going. Your operating model is outdated. You need to have a new operating model, whether it is centralized, decentralized, or a hybrid. You look at your strategic sourcing, for example. How do you then procure differently? That impacts on your organizational design. It impacts on your business processes. And I know all of this because I am trained.
Yes. Yeah.
And on top of that, when it comes to tools like the Excel, the Access database, the PowerPoint, the MS Word, the Visual Basics, I know all of that. Not basic. I'm
advanced.
I'm an expert. When even when I type, and a lot of these things I didn't go to school. Some of them I learned myself. For example, when I type, even today, I don't look at the keyboard.
Yeah.
I will type and talk to you.
Yeah.
As a typist, some people they call me a typist.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, perhaps in future typing might not be important.
Yeah. But it's a skill you have now.
It's a skill you have. I mean, innovation has evolved.
Yeah.
There's a generative artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
You can sit in front of your computer.
Tell you what to write.
Your computer will type for you. I'm not sure about formatting.
Yeah.
But you need to format. So if you go to the client and you are knowledgeable, you will add value. But what is important, you can have all the necessary skills. But if your attitude is wrong, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
If time management is poor, if your image is bad, your client is not going to be important.
Yeah.
And for many years, Impella silently was making impact in many organizations.
Yes.
Because I thought, I'm not going to focus more on branding the organization.
Okay.
I'm not going to focus more on overselling and telling
Yeah.
people you can do these big things.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we don't
The offering
do
is
not
not
have
there. Yeah.
capacity.
Yeah.
That's where people make a mistake. They oversell. They promise clients more than what they can offer.
Mm.
I made sure that even though, because if you look, for example, at strategic sourcing is not just a strategy or a philosophy. It is a strategy. It is a methodology. It is a principle. They are underlying principles.
Yeah.
So if you implement strategic sourcing in an organization, you are actually transforming the organization. So you need to then be very clear in terms of how do you transform the organization. And it is linked to finance as well, because there is demand management, which translates to budget management. And budget management, then you can start procuring.
Yeah.
But when you receive goods as well,
Yeah.
there's there is financial management aspects, because now goods are sitting probably in your inventory.
Yeah.
So you cannot order more than you can consume, as I
Yeah.
was saying, that analogy in your house environment. Because you need to have very clear what are your stock turn ratios, what are your moving average. Because I had all those skills.
Yeah.
It was very easy for me to talk from an expert point of view. You need to be a subject matter expert. Where people, I think, fall short. If you go to the client, they ask you, you go Google. I'll go to the client, honestly, unprepared.
Yeah. But because you're an expert,
Because I'm an
you'll
expert.
handle the conversation.
I then have a workshop. Obviously, I'll prepare. Bullet
Mentally,
point.
yeah.
Now, they need to work with you in the journey. I remember when there was an intervention in the Eastern Cape. I actually called a meeting with, there were district officials. There were more than between 60 to 100 people. And they have to listen to me. I'm just going to, my job there is to show them the new ways of doing things. And when you are able to drive the change and you mobilize resources, you know, that's hand-holding, showing people how to do things.
Yeah.
You get that satisfaction.
Wow.
And where the advantage is for us black firms, and I wish there could be more of us, because that's cultural competence. It's very important where you are conducting your business to understand the cultural dynamics.
Okay.
In other departments, trust me, English is not, even though it is an official language in South Africa, people still speak in Xhosa.
Yeah.
Or Zulu.
Yeah.
So now if you're coming there, you're trying to mobilize them, and you're busy speaking your English.
Yeah. You don't have an appreciation of the mode of operation there.
Yes. But I mean, if you're coming up with frameworks and strategies that are complicated,
Yeah.
and then you're talking to some Baba, my leader.
Yeah.
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 What I mean about sourcing levers in strategic sourcing. This is what I mean. And he ends up getting the point.
Yeah.
And actually supporting your...
How do you develop that skill to take something that's so complex and make it easy for the man on the street to understand? Because that's the point you're making. Cultural context is critical.
I think it's because how one was brought up, I remember at school, because you need to research something or recite something, but you don't understand in English what it says.
Yeah.
So you're basically memorizing a 2-page, poem and you don't even know what the poem is all about. So basically, it's a very good skill to be able to articulate something you don't understand. But as you develop skills, you begin now to, I remember even songs, you will dance to a song and you don't understand the lyrics, but it takes you far. You're thinking deep, but you don't know the meaning. So it is important as well in a business context that there are some people who would be very limited, who will actually expect you to go to their levels.
Yes.
And also do not embarrass them in front of everyone. Have a one-on-one. Understand what are their issues. You might find he does not understand Excel. Teach him how to use Excel, how to analyze data. All he needs are the tools.
Yeah.
Or his manager is a very bad in terms of managing him. He's never been recognized. Try to recognize, give him some responsibility.
Yes.
So that he can feel important as well.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
but you only learn those skills if you've been a manager. So consulting is not just providing solutions to the client. It encompasses a lot of leadership,
Yes.
motivation,
Yes.
on-the-job training,
Yes.
providing solutions. I've seen some consultants, they go to the client, they provide very nice PowerPoints.
Yeah.
I never did that. You know, as soon as I'll present a PowerPoint when I'm selling, because as a consultant, you need to be very good at selling.
Yes.
Selling is a very critical skill. Networking is a very critical skill. But what will earn you business in future are referrals.
Yes.
You need to have an impact.
Yeah.
If there's no impact,
Yeah.
why should people
Yeah.
use you? You need to have, you know, testimonials. Without testimonials, no one would believe at what you are doing. I will then leave all the nice presentations and leave Impella values
Yes.
and adopt the values of my client.
Yeah.
So when I'm in the client, I will never be a sore thumb. I will look exactly like them.
Wow.
You know, so it is very important as a consultant, those who have an interest. Don't be different. Yes, you might afford to buy an expensive car, but don't bring an expensive car to your client side. You know,
Yeah.
and in terms of designer clothing as well, I would avoid, you know, wearing brands when you're going to the client. It is not. Your image is everything. You know, you must not look better than your clients. You must look the same as them.
How do you instill those values to your broader Impella team? I believe you said you started as one
Yes.
Impella employee, if I can call it that. And currently you have over 100
Yes,
employees under Impella?
There was a lot of transformation that was necessary. You know, because when you are one person, you basically do everything yourself. I operated in a suitcase for about 5 years. I didn't rush to have an office because of cash limitations, and I didn't want to go to the bank as well. You know, some people, they want to start something, they get loans. I would advise, if possible, don't get any loan. Rather use revenue you make from your clients and finance your business, you know, and scale gradually. You know, growing too fast can also be a problem. So you asked a question that's today I started as one, now there's hundreds of employees. Yes, but there was a lot of changes that I had to go through. You know, and also one of the failures, someone who started the business always believes that his management style is going to be constant throughout. So the way he used to manage himself or a team of 5, he still wants to manage a team that is more than 100. That demands or requires a different management style. You know, where in the past you used to be the one making decisions, you might be prepared to let go of some of the decision-making processes. You might have to delegate some of your responsibilities to your directors. You know, so I'm one of those people who believes in a laissez-faire management style approach. You know,
but obviously assuming you've got competent people to run with things.
Yes, but again, although some scholars are saying laissez-faire management style will lead to low productivity. But again, the assumption there is that the laissez-faire management style is across the board. You know, remember, as a consultant, you hire people that have been in industries for many years.
Yes.
They come with their own experience. They are self-motivated. They are independent. They can add value without you telling them what to do.
Yes.
Obviously, you cannot use a laissez-faire management style to an intern. The intern needs guidance, he needs
Absolutely.
support, he needs direction.
Yeah.
So when we are talking about a management style, it's probably a combination.
Yes.
There's no strictly laissez-faire
Yeah.
or a strictly command, you know those kind of
Yeah.
where they tell you what to do. It's my
Yeah,
company.
dictatorial, yes.
Yes, or dictatorial. This is how things are done, you
Yeah.
know. So basically, I had to learn, the transition to start delegating more.
To the team. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But again, in terms of hiring, you then have to make sure that you hire
You get the right people, skilled people,
Exactly.
etc. And tell me, so for a company like Impella to grow from 1% to over 100 people and raise its profile the way you have, you service big clients. Actually, I was speaking to a friend who works for one of the big organizations in this country, telling him I'll be speaking to you, and he referenced, oh wow, I know Impella. They're doing some work for us, and they're very, very good guys. They know their stuff. That was his stuff. His comment. They know their job. And it's pleasing to hear comments like that because you've built credibility in the industry. But that's not where you started as a big company that could service big clients. You had to grow through that journey. The other time we were talking, you spoke to me about some frameworks you use. Yes. Can you just maybe bring that back here and share some thoughts and insights on that?
So everything that's happened in the growth trajectory of Impella did not happen by mistake. Being in business is science. From the onset, I wanted to build a ubiquitous and scalable company. But I knew I have to start somewhere. So starting with consulting and supply chain, I was then able to leverage that to start introducing other services in our service portfolio.
Yes.
So we've been, and also what we've done, I think successfully, we grow on the back of securing a contract. Some people, they go and open an office, but they want to have a presence. I'll never open an office in an area where I don't have a client.
Yes.
But when I have a client, then I have revenue.
Yeah.
The revenue can actually support the growth.
Yes.
Or they can support the overheads. They can support the growth in that area. So it's very important not to put the horse or the cart before the horse. Otherwise, you run into financial problems, or you start borrowing money. People that have done the MBA, they use the weighted average cost of capital. The weighted average is the WACC.
Yeah.
But you can be smart in your market penetration, strategies.
Yes.
That we've done successfully. My goal, although hundreds seem like a good number, someone will then say, sure, hey, you've done very well. I don't think I'm even closer to my goal. I believe with the kind of management I have, the directors I have, we have capacity to have over 1,000 employees. Even from the onset, people thought I was crazy. I said I wanted to build a global company. Then they thought, the guy from Claremont, how can how can he build a global company? And I will tell you today, we have clients in Swaziland.
Wow.
We have clients in Botswana. We are penetrating Africa.
Wow.
And it is my vision that we'll have clients in Nigeria. We'll have clients in the DRC, Congo, Burundi, Kenya, because we have so much to offer in the African continent.
Wow.
Because if the expertise we have can contribute to the development of Africa, then I will say the purpose of why God created me on this earth has been fulfilled.
That's really, really amazing. That's really amazing. There is someone who's listening to this, has ambitions to start their own company.
Yes.
They have fears around, where do I start? What kind of a business do I start? Capital, funding, all those things. How would you advise such a person?
Okay, I think it's important to look at what you are good at. You know, it's very easy to sell something you know. But I mean, if you don't, I'm not saying there's no opportunity for someone who don't have a certain skill. But you can also collaborate
Absolutely.
and work with people that have that skill. Try to look for opportunities which are not capital intensive.
Okay.
Where you can actually start. For example, I started with the computer and my brain and my attitude and my time
Sure.
and my passion. That was enough for me to start. You know, and even when I started as well, I knew what I was doing. It was crazy. I actually bought a license for a payroll system because I didn't want to live on revenue. You know, there's another downfall of our black businesses where someone gets a contract, he goes buy a house,
Yeah.
you know, he buy a big car, and I'm saying it might make sense to actually invest that money into your business. You know, rushing in profits and at all expense might not be sustainable in the long run. You know, so that actually worked very well for me. So I started learning the systems. Like I'll capture my payroll, I'll pay myself, I'll do EMP 201 monthly, I'll do EMP 501 reconciliation. So there is nothing in my company today that I cannot do. I know how to create a website. I know how to register a company. To register a company, it costs like $200. I've seen some people paying like 2,000. I'm sorry, those who are opening companies and charging
Ignorance.
people, you know. But it's something so simple.
Yeah.
A lot of things in business or skills, you learn yourself. You don't have to be taught by anyone. You know, what is important? You've got an idea. Can I sell this idea?
Yeah.
If you can, what do you need to do? Research information. You know, and I mean, we are in the stage of artificial intelligence. You can go to ChatGPT and ask, how do I do this? It will guide you, you know. And to start a business as well, it's important to be in tune with your environment.
Yeah.
What is current, you know?
Yeah.
And also, I didn't want to do a Me Too business. Like everyone can do it.
Okay.
And I'm saying,
Okay.
I want to focus on a niche
Yes.
where there is less competition. Because even in consulting, there are consulting areas that as an Impella will never do.
Okay.
Because everyone who thinks is a consultant, they do it.
Okay.
But when it comes to strategy, when it comes to organizational design, business process re-engineering, strategic sourcing, consumption-based planning.
Yes.
I'm excited about that. You know, the issues of sustainability, I'm interested about that. Artificial intelligence, it excites me because it's not an industry that is overcrowded.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so.
And that was a deliberate choice you made.
Yes. So,
yeah.
so look for something that is scalable and ubiquitous as well. You know, but it has to be spread all over. You know, it's pointless to do something that
is confined.
This is confined in a certain area, or the market is dying.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like you want to buy typewriters. I mean, who buys? Are you with me?
The time is gone. Yeah, for that.
The time is gone. Look at what are the growth areas, and also make a decision. Do you want to create a company, or you want to make money? What that demands a very different mindset.
So what kind of a mindset does one need to have if they want to build a company versus make money?
Okay, you must not chase profits.
Okay.
You know, be willing to invest in your company.
Yeah.
Be willing to have a solid business. You need to build systems. You know, to have a culture, a company that can attract, you know, the best people.
Yeah.
it requires investment. You need to invest in your systems. Like I said, invest in an HR system. Invest in a financial management system. It is very important.
Okay.
So, I mean, organizational fitness. You need to understand that as you grow, organizational fitness, for someone to thrive that's in an organization, you need to have experts who then understand what it means about talent, what it means about culture. These are organization levers. What are the organization levers? And what are the value drivers as well? Because what I had in mind, I look at, even today, my competitors, with all due respects to other consulting firms, I don't look at a small consulting firm and saying, I'm competing with this company. I look at the top 5, the big consulting firms. Those I like. Those are competitors. So it is very important when you're starting your business to know what is your competitors, what is the products that you are offering. But again, when I was talking your attitude, you as a person, your conduct, your values, your ethics, you're putting too much work, So if you think you work from 8, 4:30, you're going home, it might not work. When we are a consultant, before your client arrives, we are already there. When your client leaves, you are left behind doing the work. Because remember, the client must look good.
Yes.
And depends on you to look good.
Yes.
And it's not in your interest to shine. Don't say, I'm the one who's behind the strategy. It's not your job. You're being paid for that.
Wow.
So you will then earn your stripes from your clients. Our business really has grown from referrals. People say, oh, I know, Impella, you did a very good strategy in supply chain. This department had a qualified audit. There was irregular expenditure. Impella came in because that's what we do as well, where organizations are not performing. And how you do that? Look at the AG reports if you've got an interest in the company. Identify areas where what keep the CEO of that organization awake at night.
Yes.
Look at the financial statement. Look at the current assets. Look at, for example, inventory. Or you think there's net working capital tied in that inventory. Look at the previous year. The inventory it keeps on growing. And then you look at the sales of the organization, but the sales are remaining the same. It might be because no one is going to listen to you if you don't have a solution. So what is also important? Empower yourself. When I'm saying empower yourself, not from having a qualification. You can still read, buy books, read. I mean, there's a very interesting book by Michael Porter, on competitive strategy. That book was written in 1980. It is still relevant today as it was many years ago. Where it's very clear what are the elements of competitive strategy. And it also begins to give you you want to focus on cost leadership or differentiation. I mean, those who have been in business will understand what I'm talking about. But what then becomes important is you're starting a business, you think you are doing well, for example, why education is important. I've increased sales by 50%. I think, wow, we have done very well. It's probably not. How well are you doing as compared to your industry and competitors?
Context.
If your competitor is growing by 200%, you've actually done very bad.
True.
We are losing the market share. So it's very important to have the necessary skills. And run your organization professionally. Have payroll system, have pay slip, pay your taxes, have a balanced scorecard, management by objective, measure the performance, set goals, be very clear.
Yeah.
You know, you asked me earlier, from one person to a big company, there are tools, there are models, there is transformation map. Transformation map is basically, can be used in conjunction with the, I think it's called the cost model canvas.
Okay.
It was designed by two economists,
Okay.
Alexander and Eve.
Okay.
You know, but those models are very handy when you are transforming your organization. But I used some of them to transform myself so that I'm not left behind.
Yeah.
You know, because the transformation map make it clear that you need to define your goals. Your goals will then inform what your activities are or your actions are.
Yes.
You set up your milestones.
Yes.
The result and the impact. So you need to know this is where I am. For example, if I can then be clear what I mean by transformation map. And in my world, it's not the new capabilities or skills you need to learn. You might have to unlearn certain things.
Okay.
You know, so you always think about learning, but there's still a lot that you need to get rid of.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
for
not
example,
relevant now.
on a Friday, for example, I used to post stuff on social media.
Yeah.
But now we are no longer a small entity. A lot of people have an interest in you.
Yes.
Probably you need to stop that.
Yeah.
Because it can be damaging to your brand.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, when you buy a new item or you're eating food, I've seen people, creating content.
Yeah.
It won't look good for a CEO of an organization and posting a meal, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so it's important to know areas that you need to develop.
Yeah.
So that you can be better suited to actually add value to your organization.
That's really awesome. I think you spoke about skills during this talk. I suppose it will also fit into the transformation map discussion.
Yes.
How do you attract very good talent in your organization as part of your transformation journey? What sort of value proposition do you bring on the table to make sure the people you bring on board are competent, they are well skilled to help you deliver exceptional value to your client base?
Look, we pay very well.
Okay.
I mean, we pay the same as the big consulting firms.
Yeah.
Because we actually attracting the same resources
Okay.
in the industry. But pay is just one element. You know, hence earlier I spoke about organization culture, organization fitness.
Yes.
It's important to know what makes your employee feel at home. You know, create that environment where everyone can be able to unleash their full potential.
Yeah.
You know, an environment which is non-threatening, an environment where people know that hard work is critical, an environment where value system is very, very much important, an environment where respect is key. And look, I can go on and on and on, but when people are, like when the environment is conducive for people to unleash their full potential, your return on investment you will get, and you'll attract. Because you know the way it go around. Where we are failing as business, it is when we do not value our people. It is when we do not allow people to make mistakes.
Okay.
Mistakes are not necessarily bad if there are lessons learned, if they are not as a consequence of negligence. You know, so it is important as leaders to have an environment that will attract the best people.
Yeah, amazing. As we draw to a close, I'm sure you've got a lot of experience to share with our audience, a wealth of learnings from challenges and good times. As we wrap up, what would you say as part of your business journey were some of the key challenges you had to deal with to make Impella what it is today?
My view is you must always set a very, very clear vision of what you intend to do. As I said earlier, business is science.
Okay.
Have all the early warnings, because remember in consulting, you're combining both qualitative knowledge and the quantitative knowledge. So you need to measure everything that you are doing.
Okay.
So I'm not suggesting that I've not experienced any failures. They are vast, but having said that, there are lessons learned. What is not required in business is a situation where you're repeating the same mistake and the same mistake. Then that is not ideal.
Yeah.
And I don't want a situation where I'll prioritize and saying this mistake was far bigger than the other one. So, for example, as a business, I think you need to know when to quit. And you need to know when to persevere. There are cases where, for example, despite spending a lot of efforts and you are not getting the results, maybe
it's a sign
you might consider quitting, or your health is being affected. Your health is more important, or your life is at risk. It's unfortunate. Because there are instances where people have lost their lives, and they knew that if they continue, in these projects, there are people that are unhappy and they are looking to kill them. And a person says, "No, I'd rather die."
Sure.
I don't think it is worth dying for business. Maybe because you've got family, you have loved ones, it might be advisable to look that venture and look for an alternative one. There are also situations where, despite not getting results, you perhaps need to persevere. Where probably the risk of quitting, will attract litigations. So you have to continue the assignment, even if it is at a loss. It happens when you underquote a venture, and then when you're executing the project, the expense is actually far bigger than what you projected. And there are cases where you learn something. Yes, it is not ideal, but you still continue in that venture because there is something that you are learning.
Yes.
Or it's a new client, it is not ideal. It's a new industry. You have an interest, and you know that the reasons why you are not where you are is a learning curve effect. It gives you an opportunity to learn. When you get your second client, you'll be in a better position to actually have a profitable assignment.
Wow, fantastic! Thank you so much for those insights, Mr. Majola. I've really enjoyed this conversation. I would like to go on and on and on because I believe we are sitting with a wealth of information that you bring to the table. But thank you for affording us this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Okay, I'd like to thank you again. I've learned a lot as well from your questions because you made me think of stuff that I haven't thought about, in a long time. But as I said, hard work is important. Focus. Value add is very important. Your business will depend entirely on referrals. If you do good work, there are testimonials. No matter, I've had situations where bad things are said about Impella, which were not true. Like I was surprised, but it did not bother me. If I Google and I look at Sipho, I said, "Is this me?" But because you know yourself. it can never destroy your value proposition.
Yes.
I have grown bigger than I was. And I'm a consultant. I can remove some of the stuff that is on the internet. I don't want to do that because I want one day to say, despite all the challenges,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I have succeeded.
Yeah.
And I think all of us, if you can adopt that attitude, don't be angry, must not be bitter. No matter how much you may be mistreated, your integrity, continue being who you are. And I can tell you, those people who knows you very well will vouch for you, no matter what is happening out there. Because remember, people don't care about you if you're making, if you have a contract of 100,000. The moment your contract is 200 million, you're attracting now. We are fighting, you know, that's where the big boys are playing. So you'll have all this negativity. Stay focused. Your integrity, hard work, your track record would actually speak for you.
Wow, brilliant. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Thanks so much.
My pleasure.